Hi besties, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Luna and welcome to Luna's bookshelf. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys the 26 books I want to read in 2026. I did this last year and it was so fun. I didn't read all of them and some I told you guys about then. I'm going to repeat again now, but hopefully I will get to them in 2026. We're going to see. So I would say let's get started because we have 26 books to talk about. This is a very random author. I'm just going to start with the books I have already physically, and after that I'm going to talk about the books I want to read that maybe not have been released yet, or I know I'm not going to buy, or maybe I will buy them. I don't know yet. So I would say let's get started. So the first book is an author I really want to read more of in 2026. It's a book I saw Haley Fan talk about, especially the author, so I'm really curious to see what she's about and what her books are about, and that is Cover Story by Mari McFarlane. I just really love the cover, first of all. So this is about Belle, and she joined a national paper from the office. Well, Belle joined a tiny Manchester office of a national paper from her indie podcast. 30-something Connor is going back to the start as a new intern. The latest office news, they can't stand each other. So of course Belle bumps into Connor when she's working undercover on the biggest scoop of her career. And of course she's forced to improvise pretending they're a couple. A couple deeply in love. Two rivals, one fake romance, the highlight writes itself. That sounds so good. So I'm very excited about it and to start reading this. And she has quite a bit of other books as well. I mean, if you see here. So maybe we can get through those books as well, but book number one. Then this is a book I've had for quite a long time. There's already a Netflix movie, I think. And I just really hope 2026 is the year I finally get to read this book. And there's a Murder Club by Richard Osman. So this is about like a retirement, some people who retired, and they're like talking about murderers in the town, I think. I don't know much about it, but I think it sounds fun. So hopefully I will get to this book as well. Then this is a continuation of a series I started last year in the beginning of January in 2025, and hopefully I will continue the series. And the next book in that series is Powerless by Elsie Silver. So this is a childhood friends to lovers, and it's about Jasper and I don't know what her name is. I'm going to see if her name is in the book. Sloane. I heard great things about it. I don't know if this one is a fan favorite. I don't really know what a fan favorite is, but I liked Heartless and I also liked Flawless, so I'm excited to start it. It's a fun romance, but I do have to be in the mood to read these kind of romances because they have a lot of spice and I'm not always in the mood to read like very spicy books. So yeah, but I will probably get through that book in 2026. I'm pretty convinced I will read that. This book I got on vacation in Portugal in this really beautiful bookstore, and it was on my end of the year TBR, but I didn't get to it. Sad. So I hope I get to read it in 2026, and that is Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. When I read the synopsis of the book, I was so intrigued. It is about 3 children and their father just died, and it's like the question who will get his will, like who is in the will and everything. It's like kind of, it sounds really interesting. They're like rich people, so, and it's also very cute. And I really want to read more of Olivia Blake because she has some great work out there, I think. Or so I heard from people. So yeah, and I already have this one, so why not start with this one? The next book is a book that's really popular. I think everyone and their mother read this book, and I haven't still read this book. I'm sorry. But I really want to. It's a trope I really enjoy. It is Childhood Friends to Lovers. It is, I think, past and a present timeline as well. So 2 things I already love. So I think I would like the book. And that is Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. I got this book in a blind date book when I went to Amsterdam, and I was so glad that I got this because I've been wanting to read this book for such a long time, but I still haven't gotten around to buy it or just read it. So hopefully 2026 will be the year. And now I'm going to see. Yes, it has two timelines, the then and the now. So it's about Marcy. I'm just going to read the back for it. Marcy Sorensen is settling into an ambitious, if emotionally tepid routine. Work hard as a resident, plan a wedding to an older, secure man, keep her head down and her heart tucked away. But when she runs into Elliot Petropoulos, her first and only love, the careful bubble she's constructed begins to dissolve. Once upon a time, Elliot was Macy's entire world. At 13, he was her first real friend, and by 18, he was her everything. Just as they were about to take on the world together, everything fell apart. But even after 11 years, nothing between them has changed, and although the memories of spending lazy weekends and summers together are obscured by the agony of what happened that night so many years ago, Macy can't seem to resist them. Sounds very intriguing to see like what happens, how do they meet again. So yeah, a book I think I will really enjoy. This is the next 3 books are books I've put on my TBR like a lot of times. I think I've been trying to read these books for such a long time. I hope this year I just need to read them, or I just have to give them away because I can't keep them on shelves forever, you know. And the first one being of those 3 books is If You're a Villain by Emma Rio. So this is a dark academia book. I did start it once. I told you guys, I just DNF'd it because it was not the time. I was reading it in the summertime and this is not a summer book. So if I'm going to read it, I have to read it now, or I'm going to have to wait until like September again. But it's about a murder that happened, and Oliver has just come out of prison and he's going to talk with the detective who was on the case, and they're going to kind of retell the story, I think, what really happened that night. So yeah, very excited. When I read it, I did enjoy it, so I think I will enjoy it. I just have to get to it and just start reading this book. So yeah. And the next book is as well a book I've been avoiding because it's not really my genre, as well as If You Were Villains. And I kind of am scared that I'm not going to get it or not going to like it as much as I hope I would. And everyone else loves these books, so it's also kind of, that also plays a part. And that is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. This is like a literary fiction kind of thing, I guess. I've read one book by this author. I read oh my god, I forgot the name. Like A.J. Vickery. The Life of A.J. Vickery, I think it's called. Yeah, that book I wrote. I enjoyed that book. It's not my favorite book, so I don't know. That book was not as intimidating as this one. And I've put this book on my TBR for so long. But I think I would enjoy it. It is about Sam and Sadie. It's not a romance, but it's about love. So yeah, that's what I'm going to say. I also don't want to know too much before going into this, but I just have to read it in 2026. Same as for Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. I've had this book for so long time. I bought this because of Jack Edwards and saying he really loved this book. It's one of his favorite books, and I just really need to read this book because I think I would enjoy it. But again, I'm kind of scared and intimidated by it, and that's why I've been putting it off for such a long time. So yeah. And I have another book by her. I also have The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell, and I also haven't read it yet. So I hope I at least get to one of her books, but I prefer this one. And I do think it's a good book. It's like an hysterical fiction because it is about Hamlet from Hamlet. So yeah. But we're going to see. It is also such a beautiful cover. I mean, that's so cool. So yeah. Here it says, Hamlet is a novel inspired by the son of a famous playwright, a boy whose life has been all but forgotten, but whose name was given to one of the most celebrated plays ever written. True story. Then 3 books I'm also very excited about. One book of them I'm already reading, and that is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. So I'm filming this video on the 10th of January, so I'm already reading this, but that's not why I included. I really wanted to read this year, so if you can already cross off one of the books, that's even better. I read the Caravel series by Stephanie Garber and I really loved that trilogy, and I also want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy by her. But this one is her first, I think, adult fantasy book, so I was really intrigued to start this one and see how it compares and how it differs from the Caravel trilogy. And now reading it, I see some like comparison, but also see some differences, which is really fun. So far, I'm really enjoying it, by the way. So this is really just a typical Stephanie Garber book, especially if you've read Garber, like whimsical, very mysterious, with a mysterious fantasy kind of world, but also living like in the present. And yeah, I think it's going to be a series as well, because I think on Goodreads it says like 1, so there will be more books. So yeah, this one. So this one's we already going to be crossing off soon because I'm already reading it. The next book is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I've been wanting to read more Kristen Hanna books since I read Firefly Lane by her, and I've been putting this one off for such a long time. I got this exact edition at the library and I didn't read it because I was kind of scared by it. I did once start it and I DNF'd it, soft DNF'd it, but I hope to read it very soon, especially now I have my own edition, and it is a stunning signed edition. I mean, look at that. That's so cool. So yeah, I really hope to read it in 2020. And maybe I'm going to read it after my exams because it is, I think, a very heavy book. It is centered about World War II. It's about 2 sisters, yes. And yeah. Yes, there are 2 sisters separated by the years and experienced by ideals and passion on circumstance. Each must embark on her own dangerous path towards survival, love and freedom in a war-torn France in this heartbreaking, beautiful novel that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the endurance of woman. It is a novel for everyone, a novel for a lifetime. So, and I really liked Kristen Hanna's writing in Firefly Lane, so I know I'm going to love her writing. It just, historical fiction is not something I really read. It's not something I read a lot, so I'm kind of scared, but we're going to see. And then a final book I have physically is a book that I will definitely be reading soon because it's been a book I've been anticipating for such a long time after I read the first 3 books in the Interconnect series, and that is In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. It is a final book in a Random Rome series. It's about Maddie and James. We've seen both of them in the previous books. We knew there was some history between them, but we didn't really know what history they have, and we're finally getting it in this book. And since Sarah Adams was like, this book is coming, I was so excited. I just couldn't wait, and I finally have it in my hands and I just can't wait to start reading this book. And also the cover, that's so cute. So yeah, I can't wait to start their journey, and it's also dual POV, so I just know I'm going to love it. No matter what, I'm going to love this book, I think, with all of my heart. So yeah. Now, let's go to the books I don't have physically. I'm going to take my iPad, so if I'm looking down, that's the reason why. I made this little Notion page. I do it every time, like with my online bookshelf. And I also made this page dedicated to the books I want to read in 2026. So, the first book being on this list is Beartown by Frederick Buckman. I've heard a lot about this book and everyone loved it. I read one book by him and it was A Man Called Ove, and I didn't really, the thing is I liked it, but I just wasn't that obsessed with it as everyone else was. But I want to give it another chance, this author, and I want to read this book because I know this is a book that is very well loved. So, you know what? We're going to try. The next book is a book I really want to try. It's also an author. I have 2 books on this list. And the first one being is Scatterbases by R.F. Kuang. Reading the description, it really intrigued me. I think it's a book I would enjoy, so that's the reason why I put it on there. And I also put on The Poppy War by F. Kuang. It's a series that's also very well loved. And I'm also kind of scared to start it because it's, I think, a very emotionally series as well. But I just can't wait to start it, and hopefully I will be reading both of these books in 2026. After that, I want to do a little bit different, and that is Her Age by Jenna McCurdy. I read her memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, and this is a fiction book. And I saw this and the plot synopsis really intrigued me. So I want to read read it and just try and see how it is to read a fiction book by Janet McCurdy. So yeah. The next book is a book that isn't yet be published. It has, I think it comes like in springtime, and then it's The Slippers by Katrin Center. I've read a couple of books by her, 2 or 3 I think. 2 in total. And both of them I enjoyed. So there are some more books I want to read by Katrin Center, but this one is coming out this year, so I can't wait to read this book as well. I read Magnolia Parks and Daisy Haze by Chessa Hastings in 2025. I continued my journey and I loved it. I was also heart-wrecked while reading those books. But she came out, I think, that year with The Conditions of Will, so hopefully we'll get to that book in 2026. I love her writing in Magnolia Parks and Daisy Haze. So I think I'm pretty sure I will like her writing. It's just a little bit to see how I like the story, you know. This is a book that is also very popular. I think a lot of people already read it, but I still haven't. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. I read my first book by this author in 2025 and I enjoyed that one. So now I want to read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I read Not Quite Dead Yet by her. This was her first adult mystery book and I enjoyed that book a lot. And a friend of mine, Mara, she read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and she loved the series. And she says, I think you would like that even more. She liked, I think, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder better. So I really want to start the series, especially because it's such a popular book series. And there's also a Netflix series, I think. So, and I obviously want to read the books first before I'm going to watch the series. So yeah. Then I want to read My Husband's Wife by Alice Feeney. This is a book that is coming out, I think, in January. This is a thriller book and I want to read more thrillers in 2026. And I saw Sarah Caroli talking about this book and it really intrigued me. So I want to check that book out and see what it is all about. This author I have like a difficult relationship with. I read 2 books by her I didn't love, and then last year I read a book I really enjoyed. That was One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, and she's now releasing a new book, I think it was in May, and that is called Our Perfect Storm. And I always love her covers though. Her covers of her books are also always so stunning. But I really want to give her another try. I mean, I did really love One Golden Summer, so hopefully now it only goes upwards and I keep enjoying her books. An author I really love and I really want to also read more of in 2026, and that's Taylor Jenkins Reid. Especially her book Atmosphere. She came out with it in 2025 and I've heard so many great things about the book. And I really love this. Daisy Jones and the Six, Carrie Soto's Back, Malibu Rising, and this book is also high on my priority TBR, but also some other books by her, but definitely Atmosphere I want to get to. The storytelling of Taylor Jenkins Reid is just so good. She really can get me into the story and get so invested. So I think even though I don't know much about the subject, especially like with Carrie Soto's Back, I didn't know a lot about tennis, but I was so invested in everything going on. So in this book, in Atmosphere, I think in an Atmosphere you have this other subject like space, and I don't know much about that either, but I think I will definitely be going to be very invested in it as well. Then the next book is Truly Devious. I want to read more mystery books as well. I forgot the name. I think it's Maureen Johnson. I'm not sure. I read 1 book by her this in 2025 and I want to read this series as well. It's a mystery YA series, I think. And a lot of people read it and loved it. And I want to give it a try. I want to see what it is all about. So yeah. Hayley Pham is releasing a book this year and I'm so excited to read it, and that's called Just Friends. I've been following her journey with her writing a book, but I'm very excited to start that. And then the last book is also a book, an author I discovered in 2025, and I read a book by her and I really enjoyed it, and I want to read more of her books in 2026. And it's the book by Annabelle Monaghan. It's a love story. Yes, it's a love story. I read Summer Romance by her and I enjoyed that book so much, and I didn't expect to enjoy it that much as I did. So I want to read more of her books in 2026. It's one of my goals to read more books of the authors I discovered in the previous year, like for example, Annabelle Monaghan. Hi guys, hi besties, it is Luna here, editing Luna. So I'm currently editing the video, my 26 books for 2026, and I just noticed that I am just talking about 24 books. I'm missing 2 books, and I'm just going to say you them now. I wasn't going to film the video all over again just for 2 books, so here we go. So one of the other books I really hope to read in 2026 is The Seizoensproeven by 2 Belgian authors. I've been wanting to read this since it came out, but I just haven't gotten to it, and there's a sequel now as well. So I really hope to read this book. It's also a fantasy. You can read it in Dutch or in English, but I am going to read it in Dutch since I want to read more Dutch books in 2026. So I think that's the most obvious option to do. And then the other book I hope to read in 2026 is Rebel Witch. This is the second book and also the last book after The Heartless Hunter. I loved that book. Last year I ate that book up, and I will be doing a reread of Heartless Hunter before I'm going to read Rebel Witch. And that is also the last book in the series because it's just a duology. And I'm so excited to see what else she's gonna store for that story. So I'm very excited to start reading that. So yeah, so now we have 26 books. So now I'm going to let you guys go to the end of the video. That are all the books I want to read in 2026. Hopefully we will get to them, especially to the books I have physically already. I would really love to read all of them, but we're going to see. Let me know in the comments what your top 3 books is you want to read in 2026, and if you've read any of these books I mentioned, let me know your thoughts. I really want to know, and I'm very curious if you recommend them or not. I would say have a very great day and happy reading, and I'll see you next time. Bye!